Welcome to the No BS tour of the CMMI for development. This is a series of short videos that explain in a common sense way what the CMMI is about, how it's structured, why it's useful, and the elements of the model. In this section we'll talk about the 4 high maturity process areas. They're called that because their implementation is founded on a solid base of organizational data that are used to guide management decisions and commitments. Here's the staged representation we looked at earlier. The high maturity process areas reside at the top 2 levels of the maturity hierarchy. Let's look at the patterns of behavior we see as an organization matures. Immature organizations manage by gut feel and are therefore reactive and ad hoc. As projects get control over themselves and start to collect historical data, they're still reactive, but better able to repeat past experience and to track it. When the available project information is collected and analyzed at the organizational level, projects can better predict their performance and start to become more preventive. Risk prevention, for example, rather than risk detection and recovery. Better and more consistent data allow an organization to increase its prediction ability and control projects quantitatively, leading to a predictive project environment. This in turn allows the organization to streamline its core processes, reducing unnecessary variation and create optimized and predictable workflow. This is all based on the maturing quality of the data. Immature organizations may have lots of data, but little information. Paying attention to meaningful project metrics allows the organization to standardize on core metrics, collect and use them to build performance models, which allows real-time management and over time identify organizational improvements and predict the performance gains from implementing them. The process performance baselines and models are discussed in the organizational process performance process area, as seen in this goal and practices. But there are some prerequisites for building a process baseline or model. You need a history of processes tailored from a common process, an understanding of how process affects results, and some metrics that describe process-related activities and outcomes. You also need metrics that are detailed enough for consistent collection, that are aligned to the organization's processes, and collected with consideration of project tailoring. Then you can build project baseline. The expected canonical performance of a process, all things being equal. That is, assuming no changes to sub-processes or other factors. It's the average overall process performance. From there, we can build predictive models, since life is rarely average. These models provide if-then options for differing project conditions that allow us to predict outcomes, as this one does for the expected time based on Monte Carlo estimation, or the example of defect causes in a regression analysis. Quantitative project management uses these baselines and models to construct project-level processes from standard ones, predict the outcomes, and control toward those outcomes in real time. The goal is to hit targeted process and product quality goals on time, on budget, with a statistically predicted number of defects. Causal analysis and resolution is root cause analysis with solid and predictable data, on steroids if you like. The activities here are to determine the root causes, predict the outcomes for alternative remedial actions, test them, and learn from the data. At the organizational level, process performance management takes the baselines, models, data, and analyses and uses them to continually refine and streamline organizational processes in concert with changing business goals. It's related to organizational process focus, the improvement process area, but at a higher and more fundamental level. The processes that guide all performance and improvement across all projects and activities. So these 4 processes work together, which is why many organizations implement them together over time. Each supports the others, and the practices interrelate across the process area.